For episode 10, I'm going to be adding a little bit more landscaping to the scene. I'm going to be adding some hedging along the perimeter of the brick wall and also just kind of blending in to the grass with a few more species. So let's jump into it. Okay, just to start off, I'm going to show you guys the plants that I'm going to use and populate around the perimeter of the brick wall. And these are plants from a New Zealand plant pack, but this is just because the project is set in New Zealand, which is where I'm from. But you can literally just use any plants. These ones are good because they're already set up in Blender relatively well. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to copy these, Control C, and I'm going to go into my file. And let's just get rid of these. And I'm going to go Control V. And let's just snap them to here. So these are the plants that we have here. And what I'm going to do whenever I use a new one, because these are all unique plants, just to save memory, this is kind of a little tip. We're going to go Alt D to duplicate linked. Okay. For this one, we're going to do the same. Alt D. Alt D. And I'm just like grabbing it and snapping it and kind of for each one just moving it next to each other, just so that there's no like easily identifiable duplications of the same object. So that was 3. Let's just do the same for this one. And then like after a while, once you do a few, you can then duplicate that set and then kind of rotate it as a bunch. Ooh. So let's just duplicate that one as well. The only downside of this is that you can't actually like resize anything, because that breaks the link, because it has to be like non-modified, literally as is, you know. So I'm just going to duplicate as linked these ones too. And we're just going to move a few stuff around. And this process can be pretty tedious, to be honest. Let's just move this down just so that we don't see too much variation. But this actually makes so much difference. You know, like the landscaping in real life even. Like if you have a nice building, it's not going to be as nice if it doesn't have good landscaping. And it just helps it kind of become integrated into the context. You know, it makes it feel like it's supposed to be there without getting too philosophical on you guys. So let's just rotate that one a little bit. Okay. Cool. So let's just copy these ones. Remember Alt D. Now I haven't really done this method before, so I might not be doing it right. I think maybe there's a chance you have to keep doing Alt D from the originals, but I kind of doubt that. I normally do another method, but it's a little bit too advanced for what I'm trying to achieve here. Maybe another time. I did actually go over that process in my Glowbox behind the scenes, if you do want to know that process. And I go over a whole bunch of more advanced techniques. So, but this is just supposed to be more of a beginner's tutorial. I don't want to get too caught up in the nitty-gritty of different things. This is just more of a brief overview of every kind of technique that I do. So I'm just kind of bringing these a little bit closer to the wall. So that's looking pretty good, relatively good. And I'm going to do the same thing for one more species. So let's go back in. I've got this one here, which is quite nice. This is another New Zealand native. So I'm just going to copy all this. and we're going to chuck it in, and we're going to just snap it to this wall. Okay, cool. So let's just do the same thing. We're going to go Alt D, and we're going to kind of like just put it slightly in front. And this is just like, you know, one landscaping technique, but it's just kind of like blending in with the grass, you know. You're just slowly kind of transitioning in with the grass, if that makes sense. And it helps to understand how landscape designers and landscape architects actually work in real life, because you can then achieve something that's very realistic. And it's the same thing with architecture. If you understand the little details like how gutters work and how handrails work and all the little, you know, architraves and skirting boards and everything, if you understand all that, then it's going to just look real. If you don't, then it's not going to look as real. So I've kind of done just a little bit of bordering here, and I'm not going to bore you guys to bits, but I'm just going to do a few more, and then we're just going to duplicate this. Because in reality, you don't see a whole lot of landscaping anyway. So if I go to this camera view, you don't even see that one. So I'm going to just copy that one across after I add this last duplicate. I'm just going to build this one out a little bit. Cool. Just copy that. Let's just select all that, but get rid of that. So let's just go into plan view. I'm also, while I get to it, we're going to go right click on this, and we're just going to go vertical split and click across. Just get rid of that menu with N, and let's, on this one, let's go 0, just so that we can see what we're doing here. So I'm going to select all these little plants again. Perfect. And I'm going to move that across until you only see the last one. You see that? That's just because you don't want to show anything in the scene that you're not actually seeing. And that actually applies to the back ones too. So we only see that one. So let's just unhide that one. And let's just delete that. Gone. So now let's just copy this again. And then we can just kind of rotate this around if you want. Just kind of like remove any kind of variation. You know, I might move this one back. And depending on how good your graphics card is or whatever you render with, you might be able to go real hardcore on, you know, all the landscaping. But, you know, I understand that some people don't have the top of the line stuff. I don't either. But just do what you can, and if you can't render it, then, you know, you just have to do it within the limitations of your system. So we're just going to go around this end now, and let's just copy all of this now, deselect that stuff, and we're just going to go Alt D, and we're going to go just move it on that axis and then rotate it on that axis, and then let's just move it back. So we've just saved ourselves a whole lot of time. When you initially set that up, then you can copy it. And then I'm just gonna let's just kind of do these last bits individually, just so that it's a little bit more unique. Oh, what's going on here? Control D, Alt D. Okay. You notice I'm just kind of rotating things a little bit, moving it up and down, just because I don't want any sort of variation. I don't want any sort of like, as soon as it looks like it's been duplicated, it just takes away from realism big time. So we want to avoid that as much as possible. Okay, I think that's pretty good. These are looking too orthogonal, so I'm just gonna bring that down. I might add a few more in here, just to yeah. So let's move over to the screen here and chuck it in cycles, and let's just see if it renders, because it's relatively heavy as a scene. It's 7 in the morning on a Saturday, so yeah, it's a bit of an early one, but I never seem to have time unless I do it early before the day starts. Okay. It's looking pretty good. It's quite subtle, and you can't really notice too much details. Let's just zoom in a little bit. I think I want to add a few more elements, just bordering it. So I'm going to go quickly check in my Glowbox scene what other elements I used, because I'm just copying the same ones. Oh, it's a little bit slow. Let's just get out of this for a second. Oh. Yeah. Okay. Let's just have a quick look. I also did I also did these ones here. So let's copy these ones over. So those ones are in a collection. They're already kind of using that other process that I talked about, but it really doesn't matter. It's just kind of a different process of bringing an asset into the scene. Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to add a few here and there, just to add a little bit more variation. And this one's not going to be as like uniform, I'm just going to add it every few places, because that's kind of like the garden design that I really like, is when it's not like super, English kind of very, very regular, very copy paste, like where you see like the old style gardens, castle gardens and stuff. I like it when it's a little bit more overgrown and rustic. And a few more things that I'm just going to bring across. Again, just use the other process if you want. I'm just going to bring one of these trees across, and it's the exact same process. If you have like a project that you've done and you really like the trees or whatever, just bring it across, You'll save yourself a lot of time. So I'm just going to put this tree over here. And my process for planting in general is you do the grass, you do the kind of bordering, and then outside of this is just HDRI. That's all you see. So to kind of blend the HDRI with the with what we've made, I'm just going to add a tree that kind of just like integrates in with the design, and it kind of just overlays maybe over a few things, just so that it then makes it look like the HDRI is actually really like in the scene, rather than just an HDRI. It's quite a subtle change, and most people wouldn't notice, but if you see like a branch, go over a brick wall, and that tree looks like it's part of the HDRI, then immediately it's just like, oh, this could not, there's a chance this isn't CG. Okay, so let's just bring this across. Now, trees can really, really slow your scene down. These ones are from 3D Shaker, link in the description. I love their stuff. I use it so much. They've just got the highest quality trees that I can find on the market, really. And I've used this stuff since I started ArcViz. Oh yeah, I like that dappled light. Yeah, actually, I've got a thought now. I will play around with the sun direction eventually, but I think it would be really nice to get some dappled light in here. And you can kind of see that tree through there. So just to finish off, I'm going to copy this tree. Ooh, actually, I'm not going to copy it. I'm going to duplicate it as linked. Just like the same process. If it isn't already. Oh, it actually is already. So it's fine. I'm just going to copy it and... so I'm going to copy it and I'm going to paste it further along this axis. Oh, it's playing up a little bit. It just disappeared. Which way does it need to go? Here we go. Okay. Okay, so it's getting quite a bit darker. So now that it's a bit darker, let's just quickly play around with the color management. So if you go across to your render properties, you go all the way down to color management. Let's just boost this up a little bit. Let's do like 3. Okay, that's gamma, sorry. Let's take that back to 1. Let's do the exposure to like 2. Okay, and for some reason my view transform is on AGX. I wonder if that's a new one. Filmic. Yeah. Kind of like AGX. And we're just going to go like medium high contrast. Let's change that back to 1.5. So we're just doing an initial look at like the kind of exposure settings and stuff like that. For interior scenes, I actually like to do like a 0.8. No, that's exterior. Like a 1.2, and that just kind of like reduces the shadows a little bit. Let's just try that back down to 1, and let's do high contrast. And we can play around with the saturation of this at some point. Yeah, I'll definitely be desaturating this. I could even do it now, but because there is no saturation on it to begin with. Let's just add a hue saturation mode. This is kind of an aside, but let's just go like 0.6. And let's just quickly do the same for this one. I really like to calibrate on the go. If you make like a big change, like the lighting, then you really need to just adjust things as you go. So I'm just gonna drop the saturation down a little bit. Also, it just started raining. It's pretty gloomy for a Saturday, but I kind of like it. Okay. So that's more of like more of a subtle wood. I might just drop this this plywood value down a little bit. Oh, it just crashed. Okay, I think that's fine. So we're going to leave it there for today. I hope you found this useful. Next week, we're going to be looking at getting in assets like outdoor furniture and indoor furniture, and we're just going to be tying the scene together with just those last elements. So I hope you've found this useful, and make sure to check my Instagram out at Oliver Higgins Architecture, just if you want to see the kind of work I do as a professional. And also, if you want to interact with me on Discord, I've created a community, and we're all helping each other out, and we're all providing feedback to each other, and it's become pretty wholesome. So make sure to check that out too. And there are links in the description for assets that I use on a regular basis that you might want to check out too. So see you guys next week. Cheers.